all reports I've seen that anyone in Hollywood that tried to put out a movie such as Star Wars or Star Trek had a horrendous time putting those movies out. So you've got Gene Roddenberry, the founder of Star Trek, and you've got George Lucas, the founder of Star Wars. These people had to go through hoops to get Hollywood to put out these imaginative movies about space. So we have the control group vilifying Lucas and vilifying Gene Roddenberry because they dared to look above the level of the mud. They wanted to put out movies about space, exploration, Robert Zubrin's vision, movies that encourage the human race to get involved in frontier shock. But did the Hollywood moguls or the control group like that? No, Lucas literally left Hollywood. Lucas set up Industrial Light and Magic and Lucasfilms up in Marin County in Northern California because he wanted to have nothing to do with Hollywood. And the reason he was able to do this is because the control group overlooked taking this one little thing out of the contracts of distribution, and that was basically ancillary rights. So when Lucas finally talked the control group into giving him some mere $500,000 or $800,000 to make the first Star Wars, they failed to take the merchandising rights, which is one of the ancillary rights from Lucas. And the merchandising rights meant that Lucas could create all manner of Star Wars t-shirts, Star Wars dolls, Star Wars video games, and so on and so forth. Well, Lucas ended up making so much money from the ancillary right of merchandising rights that he was able to basically tell the studios in Hollywood to go fuck themselves. And he put together a whole industry up in Northern California in Marin County. But the point I'm trying to make is that visionaries such as Lucas and Gene Roddenberry are literally vilified, or were literally vilified by the Hollywood control group. And the same thing happened to Ron Paul. Ron Paul, with his vision, when he was on Hannity on network news, was vilified. Rudy Giuliani vilified him in the debates. All the fixtures of the mainstream media and the established political establishment vilified Ron Paul, just as the Hollywood establishment vilified George Lucas and Gene Roddenberry. I mean, there's a new documentary out right now about Gene Roddenberry, talking about what a rotten person this Gene guy is, and everybody that's basically talking on the movie runs Hollywood in the control group. You've got William Shatner, who wrote and directed the show. You've got Katzenberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg in there interviewed. You've got Rick Berman. You've got all these people sitting there making a TV show vilifying Gene Roddenberry because he was a visionary and wanted to make a movie about Star Trek, a movie about looking up higher than the mud to the stars and maybe doing something that had value to people other than the control group of Hollywood. So the people that tried to put out movies that gave a futuristic view of the human race or going to the stars or exploring are always vilified by the control group, or they're never given the money, or they have to beg and scrap for the money. And same with Gene Roddenberry. I mean, the gall he had in trying to set up movies where conflict was no longer there. Because, you know, the control group just loves conflict. Conflict is their modus operandi. It's what, you know, it's almost what their whole life seems to be about, conflict. So we can't have a movie series that doesn't have any conflict in it. And look at all the movies coming out of Hollywood. What are the futures in these movies? They're all dysfunctional. Every one of them basically depicts a global government. Soldiers all over the place, weapons, you know, absolute domination and control. So the control group of Hollywood has a vision for us. And that vision is one world government, total domination, collectivist society. It's the collective. They want the collective. It's the planetary collective, and they're in charge. They're the elite. They're basically telling everybody, this is your future. Get used to it. Accept it. It's a police state. It's a one world government. It's a totalitarian government. This is the globalist agenda. Hollywood Control Group is pushing the globalist agenda. The Hollywood Control Group is promoting the globalist agenda. Kind of a republic or constitutional republic. Forget about Christian values. Forget about any kind of values that are different than Marxist values or one world government values, collectivist values, communist values, Marxist values. So we have this control group that can't even allow the freedom of the exploration of outer space, which could provide the human race with infinite and endless freedom. We can't even let them dream about that. Well, we have to have endless wars in our movies. Every futuristic movie has to depict a dysfunctional future, a dysfunctional world, a world where the aliens have taken over. Almost every movie that Hollywood puts out about the future depicts a dysfunctional, totalitarian police state.